Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to this week's video. This week we're going to be continue on with the Deathmatch. We're almost at the end here, so there's not much longer to go. It's we're just going to get it to like a workable state, and then the rest of it is really going to be down to you to customize it and build on top of it, using the skills that you've picked up to build on top of it. No doubt you've already built on it, and you've made it already sort of your own thing already. But yeah, this week what we're going to do, our AI currently just patrols and then chases us. We're going to switch that up a little bit. We're going to get the AI to shoot us. I think what might be a good idea is if the AI sort of patrols randomly looking for us, in a sense. Once it spots us, it'll then get in range, so it's close enough to shoot you, so it's not trying to shoot you from across the map. And then once it's close enough, shoot you. And then depending on how much time we get through with that, we'll see if we can tack on a few other bits and pieces, but for the time being, I think that's going to be the main focus for this video, of just get the AI shooting us. Right, so I've just opened up the project here. I've just found our AI player, but that doesn't actually make much of a difference, to be honest. So in the content browser, I'm going to go back to content, go to first person, and I'm going to go to my blueprints, and I'm going to go to my AI. And I'm just going to open up the behavior tree and just to see where we're going to start from. So what have we got here? So we start off with, have we got a line of sight? If we do, turn to look at the player and then chase, and chase is just actually changing the character's speed. Let's have a look what we've got here. Then we're going to move. Guessing, well, if we have line of sight isn't true, we're going to find a random location to patrol to, move to that, and then wait, and then just another wait. I'm thinking that this has line of sight is going to kind of be redundant, because I don't really want the AI to chase my player, but I want it to move towards me. So I'm actually going to hold Alt, and I'm going to disconnect this this has line of sight. I'm just going to move. Oh, I'm just going to move this out of the way for now. I think really we're going to want to start with a patrol. Patrol. You spot the character, move into place, and then shoot. So let's just drag off the route. Type in SEQ and get a sequence, and then again another SEQ sequence. I'm gonna move that. I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna delete that wait for now. I'm just gonna rename these so then we know what they're doing. So also to player. That's essentially what I think we're going to need to do. And then for this final sequence, it's going to be shoot, target, and then be fine. Okay, so it'll probably make sense if we start with shoot target. Tell you what, just so that this doesn't get confused. Yeah, I shouldn't do. Yeah, we'll start off with like shoot target. So for this one, what I'm thinking is, obviously in the previous video, we actually went into the AI player. Get this up. We went into the AI player, and where the spawn projectile is, we put this bot fire in there. So we're going to need to tap into that. So we're actually going to need like a shoot task. Obviously shoot isn't a task, or fire. We can make one. So to do that, what we can do is go to new task up on the top left. This will just create a new task. And you can see here that I've already got the chase player and the find random patrol point, but we just want the BTT task blueprint base. This is just like, it should, to be fair, it should just say like blank task, something like that. It's just a bit silly, but yeah, just click on that and it'll make you like a blank task, to be honest. But it gives it this silly name, so we need to go back to the first person example map, and you'll see it here with the star next to it suggesting that it's not been saved. And if we just double click on it, it'll ask us to rename it. Let's just keep the what do they call it, a prefix of BTT, and then we have an underscore, and we'll just put shoot target. Okay, so let's go back into shoot target. So just double click the file and it'll take you straight back to it. Every AI event starts with an event execute. Make sure that you've picked the AI one though. Okay, and also as well, just so then we don't forget to do it, as well as an execute, it always has a finish execute. And you want to tick successful, because if it does do this correctly, we want to say we did it successfully. Okay, so this is actually going to be really, really simple. So the controlled pawn is the character that is going to be controlled by the AI, which is going to be your AI player, which is this one. So if we cast to this player, we'll have access to this bot fire, and that's it. That's pretty much it. So from the controlled pawn, because this is an object reference, we can do a cast to, and we can cast to the AI player, and this cast is going to work pretty much all the time, because we're always going to be controlling this AI player. And then as the AI player, obviously we've got that bot fire, so let's use that. So let's bot fire, and then we'll just plug that into the finished. Now, on the very, 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 very rare occasion that this fails, this cast, let's just grab a finish, and you can press Control C and Control V to copy and paste, or alternatively you press Control W. Let's do a duplicate. Untick the success, because we're going to expect a failure here. Let's just grab the cast failed, plug that into that. So we're just telling the system here that, whoa, something went wrong and we've finished the script, but we wasn't successful. Hit compile, and let's go back to the BT bot behavior tree. Let's drop down from here and let's go for shoot. And you can see now that we've got a shoot target. Okay, so effectively this is just gonna shoot. It's not actually gonna aim at anything. It's not gonna stop if it runs out of ammo. It's not gonna know anything of that. So let's save that and let's just see what that does. Okay, this is the first time I've pressed play, so it hung up a little bit there. Okay, so at the moment, absolutely nothing's happening apart from it's just randomly searching. That's telling me that this sequence is just looping. It never actually makes it over to here because there's no real condition to say, well, why should I go over there and do that? Okay. So we actually need to set up what's called a decorator. And now a decorator really is just kind of like an if. So it gives you behavior tree conditions. Like, let's say we only want it to patrol if we've not found an enemy. You know, because once we've found an enemy to sort of shoot, we don't really want to find another random location. We want to like stick to the enemy and like let's go and attack him. And we don't really want to shoot unless we have found an enemy, you know. So we don't want to patrol when we found an enemy. We want to shoot it. So let's set up a condition that says don't do this if I've got an enemy type thing. So yeah, to do that, if you click on your patrol and right click and you want to add a decorator. Now you've got quite a few options, but the one we want to pick is blackboard. Now what that allows you to do is, well, as that name suggests, a blackboard based condition. This allows you to set a condition from some of your blackboard data. So if we switch over to the blackboard, this enemy actor is currently none. Now in our behavior tree, we are getting the character. Oh well, let's go to the AC bot for now. So if you remember building this, essentially what we're doing is we're running the behavior tree, which let's go back to that. We're finding a random location and we're just walking around. Now while this is happening, our character, our actual AI character, with its eyes, because if you remember, we give it a stimulus, an AI perception. We've give it sense, a sight. Once this AI character sees our player, if you remember, we triggered all this code which says, right, set the behavior tree blackboard has line of sight to true because it's a boolean, and also set the enemy actor to the actor that we've seen, which is probably going to be ourselves. So automatically in the background, this enemy actor at some point is going to be set to us instead of none. I keep getting lost here. Let's go back to the behavior tree. So then at this point, can you see here it says blackboard enemy actor is set. It's like this decorator. We can actually set up here that, well, I only really want you to do this as long as your key query for enemy actor isn't set. Once we've got an enemy actor in sight, I want you to stop what you're doing. You know, I don't really want you to continue doing this. Pointless. So for us to set a condition of what's going on here, so you know, we're telling it what key to make a decision based on. So based on the enemy actor is not set, what do you want to do? And that's where this flow control comes in. So we you know, you've got a couple of choices here as well, like on the result of this being changed, which it is going to be changing from set to non-set, or you can work on a value as well, like how the values actually change. But let's just stick to results changed. And then what do we want to do? So at the moment, I don't really want to abort anything. Sorry, it's currently set to doing nothing. Now you've got abort yourself, which is just going to be whichever one was running, it's going to abort that. Lower priority, which means it's actually going to abort anything to the right of it. And then both, which is going to really abort everything that's not told to do something different. So as soon as the enemy's set, all of these are going to be aborted, but all of these are going to be stopped as well. So essentially what's going to happen is this route comes down here, does this, patrols, move to, and then, alright, we've spotted someone, great. Stop that, stop everything, and then go back to here. And then this is going to come back and go, oh, hang on. It's going to repeat itself, and it's going to go, oh, hang on. This is set. I'm not going to do this. So then it's going to check here, and then it's going to go, well, there's nothing to do here, and then it's going to just shoot. In theory. Let's test that out. I'm hoping that once our enemy actor is set, it should just start shooting. Now, we've not told it to aim our character or anything like that, so I'm hoping that it's just going to shoot all over the place. It's not going to look that great, but it should test what I've just said. It's true. Oh god, right, so that made me jump actually. I hate how loud the sound of the projectile is, but I don't know if you just noticed that. Now I'm prepared for it. Look at this. I'm gonna forget about that. It's probably because it's just spammed 10,000 bullets at once. So if you didn't catch that, I'll press play, but you've got to be quick. Now, oh, there you go. I don't know if you heard that or you saw that. There was a big stream of bullets. As soon as that AI got a glimpse of us somehow from behind them cubes, I don't get that one, but either way, it's just the only tree that it can do per tick. It's just emptied its entire clip, which has highlighted a potential issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say let's wait. So every time you are shooting, please wait before you fire a shot. You know, and let's just say the wait time here is like 0.3 seconds. And let's just so then every shot doesn't seem the same. Bang, 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 bang. Let's add a random deviation, and that'll just mix things up. Like this time it might be so like a random deviation can be plus or minus. So let's say if I put 0.3, it could immediately shoot another bullet. It could shoot it in 0.6 seconds. It could shoot it in, you know, you get my point. It can do the default wait time plus or minus 0.3. So let's hit save and let's just see what difference that makes. I'm hoping that that isn't as messy then. There you go. That seems a bit more sporadic, let's say. One thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this BT shoot target and I'm going to close the AI player for now. Because I keep clicking on them and getting confused. I'm just going to drag that to the end. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. What I might actually do is I might change this to like 0.4 just so then it can't actually be 0, because if it takes 0.3 away from the 0.3 wait time, essentially it's going to shoot 2 bullets at the same time. I don't really want that. I could have just changed that to 0.31, which would have limited that, but you know, for the sake of it, let's just go to 0.4. Hit save and let's just see if that's made any mad differences. Okay. He's still a lunatic, so it's fine. Let's have a look. So, obviously, that's cleared out errors. That's fine. What do we want to do? Right. So let's go back to here. So we actually need now a way of, well, at the moment he's just shooting whichever way he was facing. We want to get a way of, let's look at the character and then shoot them, because that'd make sense, wouldn't it? So let's just make a bit more space. We're actually going to put like a kind of like aim at the player kind of thing. Let's see if there is like a focus or aim. I know there is actually like a BB rotate and face entry, but it let me show you that actually. It doesn't, it kind of works, but it doesn't fully work. I've used this in the past, one of my previous projects. Now, you know, it's close enough if you want. Oh, I ran into the bloody death cube. Let's try that again. I ran into that cube. So
Let's get its attention. Obviously, you by the way, you can set up a sense where if your gun makes a noise, it'll detect us. Now look, you can see that it's facing us, but it's not aiming at us. So it depends how bad you want your AI to be, really. Yeah, it really does depend on how bad you want your AI to be. If you're happy with it being bad, don't worry about it. Keep it on face. But if you want your AI to actually aim at you, let's get rid of it. Now to focus, this is actually going to be a new task. Obviously the one that's pre-made is not really good enough, so let's just hit new task, and at the bottom again let's pick the base. That's going to open, but as we did previously, let's just nip back and let's just rename it. So here it is, new task, but we're going to want BTT, and let's go focus. Yeah, on player. Focus on player. That's fine. I always capitalize that second letter. I'm going to change that because it will annoy me. Focus on player. Okay. Okay, so that saves taking a lot longer. It suddenly doesn't feel worth it changing that letter now. Okay, that did take a lot longer than it should have done. However, let's jump into that focus on player. Now, I'm hoping this one should be straightforward. So again, let's do our event execute. Execute, make sure you get the AI one at the top. And then again, we're going to want to finish, execute. And hopefully the first thing we're going to do is a successful execute. Okay, so now I want the AI to always look at the player. Now, because this is obviously a single player deathmatch with bots, I'm actually going to make this a lot easier for me, and I'm just going to kind of tell it to get the player character. So let's get the player. Okay, spelling's obviously become a bit difficult for me. Get the player character. Now this is just going to be a reference to like whichever the player index 0, which is typically you as the person who runs the game. Get that, and then let's. Do we need to cast? Or could we just? We need to get a location basically. Get actor location. Oh, well that works. We'll do that. So yeah, get the player character. Get the player character's location, and then. I think it's going to be the controller that we're going to need to do this. And if I remember rightly, within the controller, there's like a focal point. That'll be it. Set focus. Set focus for actor will set the focal point as a result. Sets the position that the controller should be looking at. So yeah, we'll go for focal point. But we want to set the focal point, and that's going to be like what should we look at? Well, we want to look at where our character is. So we'll just tap that straight into there. And that should be it, really. I think that. Yeah. And I can't see any way of that failing. Because there should always be a player character. This will only execute if it has an owner. So I can't see that failing. So I think I'm going to leave that like that. Let's make sure it works. So let's go back to our behavior tree and let's now type in focus. Chuck that in. Get our AI focusing. So hopefully now it should run around, focus on the player, where, shoot. Let's save. Player. And this time it should be a bit more aimbotty. Look, we're getting away with this a little bit. I know he's going to turn around now. I can already tell. There we go. So yeah, if I stand still, look, you can see now that he's actually shooting me.
Now, I'm going to need to incorporate some sort of distance thing here, so because you can see that before he runs out of ammo, I think he's run out of ammo. Yeah, he has. If I walk all the way back down here, oh, okay, so he's lost visibility on me. Oh, actually, I noticed another bug there. Basically, my case was going to be that even if I'm all the way over here and he knows for a fact that he can't shoot me, he will continue to try. Whereas I'd want it to run a bit closer to me. Now, the other issue I just noticed then is we've set the focal point, and even though yeah, look at him. So now he's patrolling, so technically he doesn't know where I am. However, because we've set the focal point, he's still aiming at us. Okay, so we're going to need to reset. We're going to need to reset that focal. What is the best way of doing that? Okay, what I'm actually thinking is if we go to the AC bots, which is the AI controller. So that's this one. At some point in this script, we're actually saying if you see the character, set the enemy actor key. That's the actual thing that we're looking at. Now, what I'm thinking is if we're technically setting the focal point of this bot, which I don't actually know where that would be. I've never been in it from this angle. However, if you remember, we've actually tapped into the controller here, set the focal point somewhere. I'm thinking back in here. Obviously, this is where we set the enemy actor, which is technically causing us to then shoot the actor. If at the point where we lose sight and we set this has line of sight to false, we're technically saying, well, we can't see the enemy anymore. And that's when we start running around. At that point, that's when we want to reset our focal point back to 0. So I'm hoping I can do clear. Well, let me just type in focus. I think it's clear. Yeah, it is. Clear focus. So that's back in the AI controller itself. Let's hit compile and let's hit play and let's just see what happens. So okay, so he sensed me, shooting me. Okay, great. There we go. And now he's no longer. Yeah, so now he's no longer following me until he can see me. Okay, let's hide behind this cube and let's just see what happens. So yeah, he's looking over at me now. Okay, I think that was just a bad random location. Obviously running straight towards me. Let's hopefully he turns around now. There we go, perfect. So the focal point has been cleared. That's perfect. That bit's now working. Let's work on that distance thing. Okay, so I just paused the recording there to have a sip of water. I don't know if I've changed screen here because I was just having a look around to see where to go next. I can't remember. So yeah, normally if I do that, I try and put the screen back to where I was, but sorry about that. So sorry if the screen's just jumped there. I'll try and blend it in with some video magic, but yeah. So let's do the in range. So let's go back to the behavior tree and let's just see where this is going to be. So at the moment we've got, let's find a random place. If we spot the character at any point, let's stop, focus on the player, wait some random time, and then shoot the player, and repeat this. And then obviously that automatically updates when we can't see the player anymore. Let's start doing this random looking around and blah blah blah. So sorry about that, I'm getting tired. So let's just move that over. I mean, this is probably just going to be one task. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to check somehow how close are we to the player that we're trying to kill. So for us to do that, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to go back to the AC bot, and the best way of doing this. So I think one way I can do it is, so this AI perception is actually reporting on the actor that we've seen. So that's probably the one that we're going to be most interested in. We can see this big blue line that's scrolled all the way across the thing here. I'm actually going to tap into that. So if you double click on it, you get what's called a reroute node. And then the good thing about reroute nodes is, apart from being able to help you keep your code all nice and tidy, you can actually pull off them and steal the same data. So with that, let's get the actor's location. So essentially this is, who have you seen, and then where are they? So then really now what we need to do is try and get our location, like our as in the bot, and then let's try and find the distance between them two. And if that distance is, I don't know, let's say less than 1,000 or something like that, that might be too narrow. I don't know. Anyway, if the less than 1,000 is true, then let's say, well, we're in range to shoot, and then we can carry on to shoot them. That's the plan anyway. So somewhere we can find sort of like the actor that we're controlling. So I don't know if this works. Get possessed? No. Possesses? Handles attaching this controller to the specific pawn. Unpossesses. Event on possesses. Call to unpossess our pawn possesses. So that takes in inputs. That's not what I want. Now, okay. So with this being an AI controller, if you probably don't remember now, but when we created this controller, one of the first things that we did actually was when we get possessed, run the behavior tree. So when this AI script starts running, the first thing I want you to do is run the behavior tree, so then we know, start the brain going. Now luckily one of the sort of nodes on this, the outputs, is which pawn have we actually possessed. Now we didn't use it for this, but luckily we can tap into that now. So if we pull off that and then get actor location, so hopefully this should be the location of the AI player. So we've got the player character that we've spotted, and we've got our other character here. So we drag off these. I'm just gonna. I'm really sorry. This is gonna look a little bit not so good. You can have a go at rearranging this in a minute. I actually know that there's a distance node, which is really handy because it gives you the distance between 2 points, which is exactly what we want. I'm going to bob this down just a little bit. I'm not going to attempt to make it look nice, but we'll try. So
From dragging from your get actor location from your possessed pawn, that's a vector, so you can just type in distance and it'll tap it straight into V1. V2 is going to be your actor location that you've got earlier, and this is going to return a float. So this is basically this vector minus this vector equals this distance between the two. So that's just going to be a number. Now I guess we'll do we could print that to the screen, I'm thinking. Yeah, what I'm going to do, just for your benefit, please don't do this. I'm just going to do a tick, an event tick. And from the tick, I'm going to print a string. And I'm just going to print that return value. So this is going to run permanently. But hopefully as we get... I think this will only work once my character's spotted. So to be fair, this might be 0 for a little bit. And then once we're spotted, this will start to update. But either that, I'm just going to get tons of errors in a minute. So here we go. Right, he spotted us. So you can see it's 2000, but as we get closer, I'm just going to get a spot of which I get shot at. So 1004, I'm still not getting shot. Okay, so alright, well he's run out of ammo, so I'm going to say 1200's probably a good number. I was almost getting shot at 1400, so 1200's probably a good number. So you can see as I get closer and closer, that number gets smaller and smaller until, you know, we're basically on top of each other. But okay, and yeah, that's the big list of errors that I expected, to be honest. So now what we can do is just get rid of this tick, because that was just for demonstrating that number. And I'm going to say if this number becomes less than or equal to, what did we say, 1200? Our range figure is going to be considered true. So we're actually going to want to set a blackboard figure for that. Now let me explain what that means. Let's go over to your behavior tree, and then on the top right, go back to your blackboard. We're going to need to make a new key, and similar to have we got line of sight, yes or no, we're going to need, are we in range? So let's open a new key. It's going to be a boolean, and let's call this one in range of target. Trying to make this as ambiguous as possible. Accurate, not ambiguous. That's the in range of target. So it is a bool, and it's that doesn't make a difference. But the answer is either going to be yes or no. So hit save, and let's just nip back to this behavior tree. The what do you call it? AI controller, the bot. And we need to make a reference to this. So remember this name, or alternatively, to make your life easier, you could probably copy this entry name. We need to basically tap into this and set it to true from the controller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little bit more space. I think just drag these three over here. I'm going to keep this development string here for sense just for now. This is essentially just telling me that my character's been spotted, and I can see that we've been sensed. That'd probably be more appropriately called player sensed. Okay, so really we need another one of these, but this boolean one. So let's control W that, move it over, drag this in, and this basically is either going to return true or false. We can just plug that straight into the bool value, and then finally we just need a key name. So if we drag off that, we can promote this to a variable, we can give this variable name the pasted one. Oh damn, that not work as well. Oh, I know what it's done. It's copied the this set bool. Get rid of all. Wow, there is a lot of code behind that. Let's go back to our blackboard. Let's copy this in range. Copy. Go back to this. Our key name. There we go. In range of target is your variable name. Alternatively, you can type it, but I just want to make sure it's exactly right. Now we need to set the default value as well, but to do that you have to hit compile, and then what's this error complaining about? It must be connected to a target. Oh, of course, it needs to be connected to this blackboard. So grab your blackboard reference here, just drag it over. Okay, hit compile. Okay, it doesn't complain anymore, but we need to set this default range for this. Sorry, default value. Select your in range of target, and then where it says none here, let's change that again to in range of target. Compile and save. Now, just before I let this run, let me just think about this. So we've sensed the player. It's true. This is going to come through here. Update that. Update that. Okay, I'm thinking there's a possibility that this only updates at the moment of being seen once. There's a chance that I might need to keep refreshing that to update this this figure. Let's have a go. Oh, of course it's not going to do anything because we've not set up the blackboard. So sorry, not the blackboard, the behavior tree. The behavior tree, there's no. Let's move closer to the player. I tell you what. Is that just going to be a move 2? Okay, so I think that might just be a move 2. Okay, let's try that. Move 2. Enemy actor, it's already set. However, we're going to need another decorator. We're only going to want to do this if we're not in range. So let's right click, add decorator, go for blackboard. Select your blackboard, and on the right we want this to be in range of target. And we only want to do this. We only want to do it if it's not set. And then we only want to abort ourself. This is false. Yeah, so if in range of target is not set is false. Which means we are in range of target. Abort ourself. Save. Let us have a go at that. See what happens. The player sensed. Interesting, interesting. Let us just finish this off with another decorator. Let's just get our shoot target. Add a decorator here for blackboard. And this we want. Let's do the enemy actor is set.
and again self, hit save, hit play. Is it? Come on, stop running away from us. Oh. Okay, sensed. Wait for it to get close to me. Okay, and we're not getting any shooting. Show errors? There are no errors. Okay. This. Oh, actually, it might be what I thought about earlier. It might be that this in range never sets itself to true, because it'd be false at the moment. Let's just try and fix this. So what I think might be a good way of doing this actually would be to set up a timer, which we can cancel. So the reason we like timers, so similarly how we use this, we can have this repeatedly loop. For this instance, we didn't need it to loop. We just needed it to run at this time. But what I'm thinking is, when we see a character, we can loop this timer until this becomes either true or until we lose sight of them, which I think might be the most sensible way of doing it. So for us to do that, let's drag off here and let's do a set timer by event. Here we go, by event. And what do we want to do? Let's do it every second to start with. Let's loop it. What event do we want to do? Let's just do a custom event. Let's do find range. Yes, some respect. And this is what we want to set. We want to set this value, which is going to calculate this every time, every second. And then at some point we're going to want to cancel this event. So let's just return from here and promote to a variable, because to be able to cancel this timer we need a handle. So this is going to be range timer handle. It compiles, so then that all registers. So yeah, this is going to keep looping once we've sensed a player, and then once we've lost sight or we're not sensing a player, let's cancel this so it doesn't loop forever. So what I'm thinking is, here we lose sense, we clear the focus, and then let's grab our range timer handle, drag it over, let us clear and invalidate the timer, and then let's there we've not sensed, compile, and then let's just see if that was the reason why. Close to me, there we go, he starts to shoot us, and then as I run away you can see then he starts to chase us down until he gets close enough to me and he kills me. Okay, let's check the old timer, see where we're up to. Okay, so this video's already got on a little bit now, so that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it for today. So, as always, if that was of any help to you, please consider giving me a like. If there's anything that I feel like, if there's anything you feel like I've missed out, give us a comment down below. I will respond to you. Same if nothing works or if something's broken for you, you're having troubles, pop a comment down below and I'll try and help you. I appreciate all the feedback that I've been getting. It's really helpful, keeps me going forward. If you are liking what I'm doing here and you want to see more, consider subscribing. Well, until the next video, I'll see you. Thank you very much.
Eyes on my display, you say we need a change, and I feel that you mean it. You mean